education think tank, Africa Education Watch, has expressed concerns over the blanket approach to the National Democratic Congress's pledge to scrap the payment of tuition fees for Level 100 entrants into tertiary institutions. The education think tank raises concerns about the funding and feasibility of the policy, suggesting that its implementation should be more targeted. The following report has more.
The National Democratic Congress (NDC) promise to eliminate tuition fees for Level 100 students, announced during the launch of its Youth Manifesto, has drawn scrutiny from various stakeholders, including those in academia and political circles. The primary concerns have centered on funding the policy and ensuring continued support for students as they progress through their tertiary education. Speaking on City FM Channel One TV's current affairs program, The Big Issue, Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, commended both the New Patriotic Party and the NDC for their efforts to remove financial barriers to accessing education. While calling for reforms to the current student loan scheme, he noted that the NDC's pledge to scrap tuition fees for Level 100 entrants in their next administration will only be feasible if it is targeted.
Bear in mind that in year one, you may not have the same 150,000 students applying. But now, people are going to hear that, oh, okay, it's free. We can have admission waivers. So backlogs will come. If you're having 20K backlogs, that one will take about 160, 170. You understand? So all those considered, I think that funding this is much more feasible if you are targeting it.
Member of Parliament for Bilsa South, Dr. Clement Park, also shared insights into how the NDC plans to fund their policy. He highlighted the need to decap, get fund, and address revenue leakages and waste in government expenditure.
The funding, we believe, we can mobilize the resources to. The question you are asking is, why are we not targeted? It's a policy that we have proposed. We intend to go through with it. Different groups, citizens, are proffering opinions and making proposals on how they think it can be done to maximize the benefit.
Meanwhile, the president of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, questioned the political ideologies of Ghana's main political parties.
But the NDC struggled, I remember, during the election, struggled to find narrative to beat the president. They just couldn't beat it. Now, here we are. They said they don't want to do means testing. And these are supposed to be the apostles of, NDC were quite socialist in that regard, even though they are now champagne socialists, by the way. But it looks to me that they are rather, so they make this argument, and it goes back to say, look, at the end of the day, you should not be internally, you should internally be inconsistent, because you railed against the NPP when it came to free SHS for everybody.
Panelists on The Big Issue also discussed the importance of lowering Ghana's political temperature ahead of the 2024 general elections, following recent inflammatory remarks by political figures like Food and Agriculture Minister Brian Echampon and NDC Chairman Johnson Esiedin Ketia, who announced the party's decision not to sign the peace pact. For member of the MPP Legal Directorate, Kingsley Amwakwa Buedu, political leaders ought to promote peace and avoid insightful comments along with suggestive gestures.
If we're going to weaponize everything that everyone says, okay, and twist the issues out to mean or to suggest something, there's a lot to be said about NDC. Too many. What is that the chairman does? What does it mean? In this Ghana, and when you're wearing when you're wearing Batakai red with all those amulets, and I know there's nothing in that.
National Network Coordinator for the West African Network for Peace Building Ghana, Albert Yell-Yang, also commenting on the issue, stressed the need for stronger efforts to hold political actors accountable for their actions.
I think that we need to engage them and let them probably, all the explanations that may come later on, doing damage control may not wash, because already the perception is out there and people would have taken that hook, line and sinker.
The political season is here with us again, with various parties presenting their manifestos, but certainly one will receive attraction from electorate. Despite this, stakeholders also have their eyes on the manifestos to scrutinize their relevance. For Channel One News, my name is Daniel Odro Mensah.